"A maid wearing a wedding ring?" she said softly. Amara instinctively pulled her hand back, but it was too late. Vanessa had seen it, and she wasn't going to let it go. They thought she was just a maid, a quiet girl who scrubbed floors and kept her head down. But there was one thing they couldn't ignore: the ring on her finger. Not just any ring, a wedding ring. And the truth behind it was something no one in that house was ready for. Every morning, before the sun fully rose, Amara was already on her knees, scrubbing, back and forth, like her life depended on it. The marble floors of that house sparkled, but her life didn't. Her hands were rough, her nails uneven. A fresh cut near her thumb stung every time it touched the soapy water. But she didn't stop. She never stopped. Because in that house, stopping meant trouble. And yet, through all the dirt, the pain, the silence, one thing remained untouched: the ring on her finger. Still shining, still beautiful. "Hey, you." Amara froze. She didn't need to look up to know who it was. Vanessa, the woman of the house. Young, beautiful, untouchable. Everything Amara was not allowed to be. Vanessa stepped closer, her heels clicking softly against the polished floor. Her eyes dropped, straight to Amara's hand, to the ring. A slow smile crept across her face. Mocking, cruel. "A maid wearing a wedding ring?" she said softly. Amara instinctively pulled her hand back, but it was too late. Vanessa had seen it, and she wasn't going to let it go. Footsteps echoed from the living room. Amara's heart skipped. She knew those steps, even before she saw him. Daniel. He walked in like he always did, calm, confident, untouched by the tension in the air. Amara quickly stood, holding a tray, her head slightly bowed, waiting, hoping, just for a glance, just for something. But Daniel didn't even look at her. He walked right past her and smiled, not at her, at Vanessa. "Darling," he said softly. Amara froze. That word? It used to belong to her. There was a time, not too long ago, when that house felt different, warmer, full of laughter. Amara wasn't scrubbing floors back then. She was being carried through the front door, in his arms, laughing, loved. "Welcome home, my wife," Daniel had whispered. Her heart had never felt so full. They would sit for hours, talking, dreaming, holding hands like nothing else mattered. Back then, she wasn't invisible. She was everything. But love started to change. It began with whispers, quiet voices in the compound, women talking behind her back. She's been married for years, and still no child? Amara tried to ignore them, but the words followed her, everywhere. Then came Daniel's mother, a woman whose presence alone could silence a room. She didn't whisper. She spoke directly. Of what use is a wife who cannot give a child? Amara had no answer, because no matter how much she prayed, no matter how many tears she shed, her womb remained silent. And slowly, everything changed. The love disappeared. The warmth faded. And Vanessa appeared. Now, Amara stood in the same house she once called home. But as what? Not a wife. Not even a woman. Just a maid. At parties, she stood against the wall, holding trays, invisible to everyone. While Vanessa laughed, while Daniel smiled, while guests admired the perfect couple. And Amara? She became part of the background, like furniture, like she never existed. That night, in a small storage room, Amara finally spoke. "Why?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Daniel stood at the door, silent, distant, as if she were a stranger. "I was your wife," she said, her voice trembling. Daniel looked away, and in that moment, she understood everything. Later that night, alone in the darkness, Amara raised her hand and stared at the ring. The same ring that once meant love, now it felt like a question, a painful one. Who was she, really? A wife? Or just a memory everyone had chosen to forget? But then, something changed. Her expression, her breathing, her eyes. For the first time in a long time, Amara didn't look broken. She looked awake. And that was where the real story began. What she would do next would change everything. But that is a story for part 2. If you want to find out what Amara did next, whether she finally stands up for herself, or if Daniel's control tightens even further, then you don't want to miss the next part of this emotional journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2. Because sometimes the hardest battles are fought behind closed doors. And if you think Amara should fight back, type part 2 in the comments.